I want to share a really interesting study on how to reverse aging using what's called the fasting mimicking diet. I've talked about it before. If you don't understand what it is, I'll go into a bit more detail of what that entails and basically tell you how it works, give you the benefits and tools and tips that you can take home and use today. I'm Jason Ryer, certified Bulletproof and Human Potential Coach, sharing the incredible powers of fasting to unlock your fountain of youth for energy, strength, and brain power. So let's dive into this. So, yeah, the fasting mimicking diet to help reverse aging, to help with diabetes, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. So, what happened in the study? So, there were 71 people in the study, and they consumed a fasting mimicking diet for 5 days each month for 3 months, right? What were the effects? So they reduced body weight and body fat, lowered blood pressure, and decreased the hormone IGF-1, which has been implicated in aging and disease. So I'll talk about that more in a second. They decreased their BMI, which is their body mass index, glucose, triglycerides, cholesterol, and C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. So there's one big surprise I want to get to around strength and body mass. So I say building strength, and people think, well, fasting, you can't build strength. So there's a really interesting distinction between water fasting and the fasting mimicking diet. So we'll get to that in a moment. So back to this, changes in dietary composition can enhance healthy aging. So what is that? That's the fasting mimicking diet, which is lower in calories, sugars, and protein. So low in calories is just consuming less food. Low in sugars or carbohydrates gets you into a state of ketosis where you actually burn and use the fat on your body. And then lowering protein actually helps boost something called autophagy, which helps clean up your dead and dying cells, virus, bacteria, fungi, and helps you regenerate the cells in your body. And the thing about IGF-1 we talked about before is that actually is contributed to by an increase in protein. So you consume more protein, and your IGF-1 tends to go up. So like I said before, just 3 of these FMD cycles reduced body weight, trunk, and total body fat, lowered blood pressure, and decreased IGF-1. And no serious adverse effects were reported. So let's back up and talk about the problems, some of the problems that you might face, that a lot of people face around this, something called metabolic syndrome. And this is the occurrence of 3 of the 5 following conditions. 1, obesity. 2, elevated glucose. 3, blood pressure. 4, triglycerides. And 5, cholesterol, right? And this affects 47 million Americans and increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, which is the #1 killer and all-cause mortality. So the FMDs can get rid of this, ameliorate the incidence of diseases such as cancer and multiple sclerosis in mice, which is great for mice. But what about humans? And that's what we discover here. So severe growth hormone receptor and IGF-1 deficiencies. So when your IGF-1 goes down, are associated with a reduced risk of cancer, diabetes, and overall mortality in humans. Like I said before, IGF goes up with protein consumption. So when you consume less protein on the fasting mimicking diet, IGF-1 goes down, and your risk for cancer, diabetes, and mortality goes down as well. So mice fed periodically with the FMD show extended health span and multi-system regeneration, reduced inflammation and cancer incidence, and enhanced cognitive performance. So prolonged fasting is difficult to implement in human studies and may exacerbate pre-existing nutritional deficiencies, making it not feasible and not safe for children, the elderly, frail individuals, and even most healthy adults. So this is water fasting, right? So a dietary intervention may be more practical and safer than fasting and could affect the same markers of risk factors for aging and diseases. So this is why the FMD was developed. It's based on a diet previously tested in animals and designed to achieve effects similar, right, to fasting, to water fasting. So fasting mimicking diet, it provides generally between about 700 calories and 1,100 calories per day and high nutrition, so macronutrient and micronutrient nourishment. So this is safe and it's feasible, And so, and like I said, the FMD lasts for 5 days. That's it. So let's dive into some of these more interesting things. So adverse effects. So I talked about no adverse effects. So what did people report? They did have some issues. Some people experienced fatigue, weakness, and headaches, but nothing serious, right? Um, and a comprehensive metabolic panel that measured changes in metabolic markers and liver and kidney function showed no negative effects from the FMD. In fact, quite the opposite, right? Help them out. So this is what's super interesting. So this is what I alluded to earlier. So we already talked about body weight goes down, BMI goes down, body fat goes down. So this is what's super interesting here is that we can see, I don't know why it says open in viewer here, but this is actually lean body mass. I can't see it on here. Maybe you can, but your lean body mass on the fasting mimicking diet actually went up. Wow. Like that was a surprise to me. So this is the power of doing a fasting mimicking diet over water fasting. The caveat here is that it was not of statistical significance. The p-value was not less than 0.05. It's 0.07, so it's pretty close. So it does warrant more investigation, more study. Um, Waist circumference goes down, glucose goes down, IGF goes down, blood pressure goes down, triglycerides go down, and inflammation goes down. So, super interesting stuff. So, all of this to say that fasting mimicking diet seems to work, works really well for mice, also works in humans. So, maybe you want to give it a try, right? So, that's what I got to say. Hope this helps to help you unlock your fountain of youth.